Welcome, guardians of secrets and architects of the boldest theories. This is Whispers of Turkish Stars, the threshold where yesterday leans into today and the curtain lifts just enough to tempt our curiosity. In the world of fame, the past does not fade, it lingers like a melody waiting for the right chorus to bring it roaring back. Tonight, a single word thunders across that echoing hallway: marriage, and it is tied to a claim so seismic it has rattled the most composed fans and pundits alike. Could Cenk Torun have carried a truth this immense in silence? And if so, what does it mean for the radiant presence of Mahassine Marabet in his life right now? Settle in, turn on notifications so you never miss a heartbeat, subscribe to Whispers of Turkish Stars, and if you crave deeper dives, consider joining our circle of insiders. The tale you thought you understood is shedding its skin and revealing something far more complicated, tender, and incendiary. Lately, the airwaves of gossip have been charged, like storm clouds rubbing against each other in broad daylight. A rumor, born as a whisper and now roaring like a jet engine through social media and high-profile celebrity accounts, claims that the famously discreet Cenk Torun once shared a bond with Gülüm Baktas that reached beyond the predictable boundaries of a young romance. The suggestion is bold, bordering on audacious. That before their lives split for good, they might have crossed a line that most never suspected into a secret marriage. As wild as it sounds, neither side has stepped forward to confirm or deny. That silence is gasoline, and the speculation is a lit match. At the eye of this hurricane sits a line attributed to Cenk, an alleged confession from a private, vulnerable moment. The phrase is simple, disarming, and devastating in its clarity. That Gülüm had once been his wife, and that Mahassine Marabet is his soulmate. With those words, if they were indeed spoken, a closed chapter is yanked open, and the present is reframed with a glow both romantic and volatile. Fans who remember the old days recall how the narrative of Cenk and Gülüm once dominated spreads and headlines, a chemistry that flickered on set and blazed on the red carpet, a rhythm that felt choreographed and yet miraculously real. When it ended, both retreated into a careful quiet, protecting their private worlds from a camera lens that never sleeps. It is precisely that history of discretion that makes today's claim so shocking, a ghost bride stepping from the archives to ask for her place in the story. The anatomy of this rumor is a tangled thing. Sources insist the words emerged from behind closed doors, from a conversation among confidants where Cenk allegedly let his guard drop. But context, tone, and intent are lost somewhere between the original breath and the echo now bouncing from phone to phone. Was it a literal admission, a legal truth tucked away from view? Or was it a spiritual metaphor, the kind that artists' souls use to name the impact of a once-in-a-lifetime love? Without the missing pieces, speculation spreads like wildfire through dry brush. And yet, the shockwave is not only about the past. It is about the brilliant present that revolves around Mahassine Marabet. Since the first glimmer of their connection, viewers have watched with an almost devotional attentiveness. Photographs that seem to catch unscripted tenderness. Glimpses of quiet laughter. A sense that these two speak a language without words. The claim that Mahassine is his soulmate has electrified the fandom. Some see it as a profound reckoning, Cenk honoring what was foundational while embracing what is transcendent. Others bristle at the comparison, worried that turning love into a scale will crush what is precious beneath it. Meanwhile, the silence from Gülüm is so complete it feels like a sculpture, deliberate, calm, unyielding. Focused on her craft, dedicated to recent artistic peaks, she has not posted, not hinted, not broken stride. Is that composure a quiet refusal to participate? A dignity that will not be baited? Or is it the stillness of someone who knows the truth but won't offer it up to the chaos? No official representative has stepped forward on her behalf either. In the gap, opinions bloom. Some insist the press is inflating a half-heard sentence into a lighthouse beam, others repeat the old line, where there's smoke there's something smoldering. Longtime observers point out that Cenk has always navigated the private with a poet's restraint. He rarely feeds the machine. When talk brushes up against love, he grows measured, even philosophical. Those who know his interviews by heart wonder if he would ever deliver such a stark, explosive statement outside a controlled setting. And so this so-called confession remains suspended in the air, a claim that neither hardens into fact nor dissolves into fiction. It is a rumor with a pulse. One reason this story refuses to settle is the great divide it is carved in online commentary. A cadre of showbiz theorists insists the bond with Gulam once carried a gravity that matched the quiet rumor of vows. To them, the puzzle piece clicks. The other camp dismisses it as romanticized fanfiction, a mirage built out of wishful thinking and retweets. Many suggest that words like my wife can live in the realm of metaphor without dragging a courtroom behind them. In that reading, the statement becomes an intimate shorthand for how deeply that history was carved into Cenk's soul. Tabloid psychoanalysts have taken out their magnifying glasses, pointing to the way Cenk divides love into the flames that change us and the harbor that lets us rest. They resurrect past lines from him, observations about certain people arriving like storms that burn off the fog, and others settling like sunlight across calm water. Through this lens, the bond with Gulam becomes the necessary tempest that clears a path, and Mahassine becomes the sanctuary that follows, the companion whose presence turns the loudest parts of life quiet. For her part, Mahassine has continued with her poised calm. Her professional momentum is unmistakable, and the fragments of her daily life she chooses to share reflect a woman grounded in her craft and attentive to small joys. Yet even those everyday posts now teem with questions pressed in by fans. Do you know what was said? Are you okay? Is this a love that will weather the storm? To some, the very idea that she is named as soulmate is swoon-worthy, a crowning vow without the paperwork. To others, the comparison casts a shadow on what is delicate and private, amplifying a pressure no relationship deserves. As the noise grows, an ethical fault line emerges. Should a relationship from years ago be dragged back into the floodlights on the basis of unverified whispers? Is it fair to only remember a woman's name when tethered to romance rather than to her work? Those who demand a right to be forgotten argue that old chapters deserve to stay closed. Others insist that fame rewrites those rules and the past is always part of the present narrative. There are no easy answers, only the unsettled feeling that some boundaries remain sacred even in a world that sells exclusives by the pound. In the center of all this, eyes shift to Cenk himself. Will he speak? Friends of the star say he prefers the strength of silence, believing that truth wears time like armor and does not need to shout. Other insiders murmur that a brief and carefully worded note could spare two important women from being battered by rumor's tides. If he speaks, he frames the story; if he stays quiet, he trusts it will pass. Either way, the choice is a kind of statement. What makes this saga so magnetic is the way it forces us to confront our own mythologies about love. Can a person have a love that forged them in fire and another that holds them in grace? Can we honor a past that was formative without letting it haunt the present? Are words like wife and soulmate signposts, or just poetry we use to make sense of what cannot be contained? The industry feeds on definitions, on clear lines and sharper labels. But the human heart is a labyrinth, and perhaps Cenk's rumored words, however meant, reveal more about that maze than any formal announcement ever could. There is also the choreography of timing. Why now? Did someone drop a sentence into the wrong ears? Did a trusted friend become an enthusiastic source? Or did the rumor simply find fertile ground because audiences are hungry for a tale with a crown and a kiss? Those who chart trends say moments like these spike whenever an actor's star is newly ascendant, or when a partner's success stirs curiosity that the career alone cannot satisfy. It may be coincidence. It may be strategy. It may be neither, a simple case of a story deciding it was tired of being quiet. As far as evidence goes, the trail is all shadows and silhouettes. No certificates uncovered, no leaked photos in white, no conveniently timed memoir pages. Just interpretations layered over memories, punctuated by a single line that won't stop echoing. In the absence of proof, people lean on what they know. And what they know is the way Cenk once spoke about love as a lesson and as a home, as a fire in his water. If you listen closely, you can hear fans using his own language to map their theories. Mahassine's supporters, fiercely loyal and protective, have risen like a tide around her. They flood timelines with reminders of her talent, her serenity, her warmth. They want this conversation to center her dignity rather than drag her into a contest she did not enter. Some argue that to call her soulmate is not to diminish anything else, but to honor the specific magic she brings. Others argue that love flourishes best without comparison, that it deserves to grow in a garden undisturbed by ghosts. And what of Gulam, the name that refuses to lose its glow even in silence? There is a kind of strength in withholding, particularly in a time when every impulse is to post. Perhaps her quiet is an act of compassion for everyone involved. Perhaps it is a boundary drawn with steady hands. Perhaps it is the most eloquent reply of all. Until and unless she chooses otherwise, the space around her is a sanctuary, and it reminds the rest of us that the right to one's own story is still sacred, even when the crowd demands a confession. So here we are, whispers of Turkish Stars family, caught between memory and momentum, wondering what truths live beneath a rumor that will not tire. Do you believe a person can be shaped by one great love and steadied by another? Do labels illuminate, or do they blur the thing they try to name? Share the thoughts you keep tucked in the quiet places of your heart. On this channel, we do more than chase the headline, we chase the heartbeat beneath it. If this exploration stirred something in you, tap like, pass this story along to a friend who lives for a good mystery, and join our community to support storytelling with soul. Until next time, respect what came before, hold fast to what is real, and lean in for the whispers that make the stars feel close. And as the final frame lingers, remember this: rumors burn fast, but truth is patient. Whether Cenk Torun steps forward with a sentence to calm the tide, or whether he lets the tide wear itself out against the shore, the story of love old and new will keep breathing on its own. For now, the only words that matter are the ones we choose with care, the ones that don't wound the people who inspired them. We wait, we watch, we listen. The past hums. The present glows. And the future, as always, is a secret standing just outside the door, deciding how loudly it wants to knock.